When, in the soul of the serene disciple, with no more fathers to imitate, and here you will find neither a proverb nor a memorandum. There are no ways, no methods to admire where poverty is no achievement. Now, I didn't know about this poem when I was younger. It's by Thomas Merton. But if I had, I think I know what I would have said. No methods to admire where poverty is no achievement? No achievement? No way. Let's start with a story. I was an achiever as a child, then a teenager, then as a young man. Was I an overachiever? I guess that's a matter of perspective, but in school and in scouts and most pertinent to our story in church, if there was an award or a badge or something to work toward, I was all in. Grades, wrestling, band, debate. Tried my best to excel. I didn't always win, of course, but it wasn't for lack of trying. In my teen years, when I began to get serious about my relationship with God, start to call myself a Christian, I simply added Christianity to the list of things at which I could achieve success, maybe greatness. I memorized dozens of verses, and I memorized the creeds, and if the church was open, I was there. I was the kid at school who always wore a cross around his neck, maybe hoping that it would set me apart as a super Christian. If there was a way to make Christianity, to make faith an achievement, I was all in. When I was 18, I had it all sorted out. I'd go to Oral Roberts University for my undergraduate degree, theology probably, Asbury Seminary for my master's degree and my doctorate, and then off to the glory and adventure of smuggling Bibles into the Soviet Union for the next 20 years, and then back to America to be the humble yet powerful Billy Graham of the 21st century. Yep, I had it all figured out. But somewhere in there, I started to fall behind schedule. Now, I did learn Russian. I did smuggle Bibles into the Soviet Union for a summer. And I did get that undergraduate degree in theology and pre-med at Oral Roberts University. And I got married. And I started having children. And marriage and children started bringing in the realities of life. I went into pastoral ministry on my way to missions, because being a missionary, those were the real successful Christians. Those guys were nailing it. And then I let go of missions as a path to greatness. But I could still make something of myself. I could still be a heck of a pastor. Have you heard of Pastor Hart? Oh, Pastor Hart, you've changed my life. I have never heard sermons like that. Pastor Hart, you are great. Now, I was sincere in my desire to please God and my desire to serve other people. But I was still trying to make it an achievement through which I could prove my worth. Pastor Hart, a great pastor. How ironic. And through it all, the badges, the medals, the certificates and diplomas, the honors and accolades, it never felt like enough. I had not yet achieved what I thought I was capable of achieving. And I became discouraged, secretly. And then, sometime in my early 40s, I'd had enough. I quit the whole game, secretly, while keeping up the outward appearance of going through the pastoral motions. I felt trapped in a life I no longer wanted to be part of, but I could not find the courage to find the exit. And in that state of secret despondency, at what I perceived as my lifelong failure to really achieve, I fell. I fell hard. I fell morally. I fell secretly. I suppose it's possible that I was trying to subconsciously make my own exit by blowing it all up. I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Actually, not thinking was the whole point of the falling. To not have to think, to not have to feel anymore. Now, I knew that someday it would all come out, and when it did, life as I knew it would be over. That's exactly how it happened. It was painful for me, more painful for my friends and family. I expected at the end of the process of church discipline I would be released from ministry. Well, really fired in scandal and shame. But that's not where the path led. I was repentant. I did deeply regret the pain I had caused others, and I was a broken man. I was ready to settle into quiet, solitary anonymity. And in that place of humility, I ran across the Merton poem, and I understood what he meant by poverty. Sitting peacefully in the ruins of self-generated achievement. But the church asked me, unaccountably, to stay on as pastor. Grace prevailed. My first impulse was to think, oh, right, here's a second chance to prove myself, to prove my worth. I was back in the race. That lasted about as long as it took to take 2 deep breaths. And then I knew, without a doubt, that path would lead right back to this place. Brokenness. But that next time it would be worse. Now, I considered turning them down, but frankly, I wasn't sure what else I would do. So I accepted the reinstated role, but I asked for about a month to think. To think about how to do this pastor thing without burning out. How to do this pastor thing without making it a game of achievement. And so for a month, I walked around my South Austin home and asked myself the question, where do I find life? Where do I find peace? Which led me here. A small deck overlooking a tiny pond. Here I would not exactly pray, not in the sense of having a list of things I wanted to say to God or ask from God. I would sit here in silence, in meditation, in contemplation. Here I could, in a sense, live with God instead of living for God. It was a good place. And it led here, my little garage shop. Here I would create. I would paint and do woodwork and bookbinding, creative work that required me to be completely present and focused. It was also a good place. And it led here. This became a place of life-giving hospitality, a place of laughter and good food and good smells, a place of stories and connection. It was also a good place. And it led here, sitting and rocking and talking, deep conversation and friendship, not shying away from difficult questions, no posturing, a place of genuine spiritual conversation, a good place. I found that when my life was good, it revolved through these 4 places, the deck and the shop and the kitchen and the porch, representing personal devotion and creative work and radical hospitality and genuine spiritual friendship. And my South Austin home became a monastery of sorts. And my daily practice, moving through these 4 spaces, became what I laughingly called suburban monasticism. When we bought Egret Isle Farm, those 4 spaces are here as well, and I continue the daily practice. Personal devotion, creative work, radical hospitality, and genuine spiritual friendship. The Serene Disciple Project is all about exploring these aspects of this monastic quadrangle. In videos to come, we will be spending time in each of these spaces, exploring what it means to embrace a spirituality of non-achievement, a spirituality of letting go of judgment, getting off the spiritual treadmill, and a way of being in the world that is, well, maybe just a little serene. This is your invitation. Come along. Well, I think that's enough for today. We'll see you next time. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and give.